Hello everybody and welcome back to Ozymandias, Conquest of the Outer Planets. And here it is, the Ozymandias. We are planning our transfer node to Sarnus, and therefore we have to advance time a little bit and enter the transfer disco. Yeah, now that's over with, we can get to the task at hand, which is, of course, moving this behemoth of a spaceship in the right direction so that we can burn a lot of fuel. And therefore I'm using the reaction control system, which of course consists of a lot of Werner engines, those being a lot more effective moving really big vehicles than the standard monopropellant RCS, and it's also easier to make, so to speak, nicer looking vehicles with those flat Werner engines instead of those funnel shaped RCS cluster thingies. Yeah, so I'm checking a little bit my fuel. Everything seems to be in order. I have to be precise with that because we're spending a lot of fuel in a comparatively short amount of time. You may notice I have used MacJab for planning my maneuver node, which has this really nice pork chop selection chart you can see in the top right corner. Now you can't see it anymore. The crew is looking good, everything's fine. Waiting for the burn to be over, everyone is calm. And we're doing a night side burn. Night side burns, of course, the choice of burn you want to do when you want to head to an orbit higher than yourself. So when you want to head out from Kerbal to, let's say, Duna, Dres, Jool or Elu, you should burn rather on the night side or on the beginning of the night side of Kerbal, so the burn will be more effective. But here we are, using a lot of fuel and a lot of engines. 7 big Rhino engines made by, I think, Kerbal? Yeah, probably. I don't care, they're made by Squad, the programmers and the developers of Kerbal Space Program, of course, and all those companies in the game are, of course, fictional. Really nice lighting effects here from the engine light mod. So we have some illumination from the fire that burns through the nozzles of the rocket motors, and of course therefore illuminating the entire spaceship. So we're already outside of Jool and we're heading close to Sarnus orbit, and now we are getting an encounter. Yes, there we go. Okay, it looks a little bit different than what we had planned originally, but that doesn't matter, it is an encounter and it's looking good. So you have seen I've locked the battery. Reason being, I can't use the solar panels yet because I still have the booster stage attached. Once I get rid of the booster, I can extend my solar panels and then I won't have to lock and unlock the battery anymore. So we're now outside of Kerbal's sphere of influence and I'm setting up another maneuver node in, well, just a little while. Why am I doing that? Because I want to get closer to Sarnus. The closer you are, of course, to a planet, the more efficient your burn will be. Of course, this is due to something called the Oberth effect. But there's also the possibility to use aerobraking, since Sarnus has an atmosphere. I'm still a little bit scared to do aerobraking on interplanetary transfers. Yeah, there have been some very explodey experiences with that and Joule. So yeah, I try to avoid them nowadays, unfortunately. But maybe I'll find a solution sometime in the future. In the meantime, we're doing our correction burn. You may have noticed I'm using only one of the engines. Reason being that I don't overshoot so easily and can work a little bit more precise. There we go. That's looking good. And yeah, since I've been using the RCS system and Kerbal Space Program being the funny little mess that it is, it's gathering fuel from some random tank somewhere for those RCS modules, and of course those random tanks have been my lander tanks. Yeah, and that of course you may have guessed is not really nice, so I had to refuel them from the booster stage, which I will now eject, so I can continue with the Ozymandias vehicle proper. There is some Delta V left, of course, in the booster stage, but I don't want to haul it around, and I should have enough in the Ozymandias itself. But it seems to be stuck for some reason. Curious. Whoops. Seems like I activated time acceleration and kind of warped through my booster stage. Doesn't matter. So long as we can get to Sarnus alright. I was checking on my encounter whether or not my decoupling has changed anything, but now it's time to do a long journey. Yeah, here we are. We are in uncharted territories. No Kerbal has ever been here. No Kerbal has ever sent a ship here. No Kerbal probe has ever reached this system. We are doing frontier work here. This is pioneering at its best. And I have suddenly got an interesting encounter because I have got a Slate encounter, and what you can see here is me trying to do something of a gravity assist, which is also a premiere for me. Yeah, I'm usually not really using gravity assists that much, but as you can see here, I've been doing a lot of planning with my maneuver nodes, so I was trying to swing around Slate, then swing around Sarnus, and then swing back to Slate. Let's see if that works out. First of all, we have to do one small burn as far away from Sarnus as possible. Of course, the further you're away from this, the higher your efficiency, of course, will be. And the closer your periapse to Slate, the higher the efficiency of your gravity assist will be. And here we are. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Wow. You know, I really would like to see some real gas giants close up. You know, Saturn has always been my favorite planet ever since childhood. And of course, since we are now in a new biome, so to speak, we have to gather some more science. Yes, science high above Sarnus. This is what we're gathering. We have our brave Kerbal here to get some, I think this is Carbella Kerman. And I thought she was a scientist, but unfortunately she's an engineer, so she can't restore our experiments. But she can gather the science and then get back in her compartment. But then of course one of the scientists, I think this is Dumor Kerman, you may remember him from the Journey to Jewel series. He was one of the Kerbals who, well, did a lot, that's why his name is Dumor. Yeah. And of course I'm getting him in the crew capsule because we have a close encounter with a Slate, and therefore we can get probably some science from near Slate. So gravity assists. Thing is, if something moves along an orbit and you pass in front of it, you will be slowed down. If you pass behind it, you will speed up. So the thing is, when the, so to speak, the movement of that celestial body around its orbit also creates some forces. Any physicists around here, please forgive my very layman description of this. So to speak, the planet kind of pulls you with it when you pass behind it, and decreases your momentum when you pass in front of it. So there's a lot of Newtonian thingies happening, and what we're doing here is of course passing in front of Slate, and Slate is huge! It's almost as big as Kerbin. It also has some very high gravity for a moon. And yeah, so it has a high orbital velocity, and the higher the orbital velocity of something is, the more effective your gravity assist will be. So Tylo and Lathe and maybe even Val are quite good for gravity assists in the Joule system, and of course Slate is perfect for that in the Sarnus planetary system. That's a beauty shot. Look at those rings back there. I can't wait for this spaceship to dive through the rings. This is gonna be great. So where was I? Yeah, so of course if you use a planet that has a slower orbital velocity, then yeah, your gravity assist won't be that effective. Speaking of not effective, we're already very far away from the sun. My solar panels are not doing a lot, so that's one of the reasons you will see me activating and deactivating the main battery all the time. So we have passed Slate, and we're heading for our next maneuver node. Okay, now since we had our gravity assist braking thing with a Slate, we are thankfully now in a stable orbit around Sarnus, but we still have to get to Slate again. Unfortunately, we're now in a retrograde orbit, so things are going to be a little bit difficult, I guess. Yeah. But first, I have to head to that next maneuver node and do some adjustment. Extending the radiators, because you see here the small radiators? I added those after that shakedown run are performed. So yeah, you may have remembered that back then the lights exploded due to overheating. So these radiators are my method of preventing that. But for this burn I probably won't be needing them because it's only a few hundred meters per second. It's a small burn. And the last time I had to burn about 800 meters per second until the overheating became too much, so I should be fine. Now, look at that. That was a beautiful sight. Look at that. Those rings. That planet really is a beauty, and that's one of the reasons why this is one of my favorite mods of Kerbal Space Program. Look at the size of this. Look at how big this ship is. This is as big as a house. And if you zoom out, it's tiny and microscopic compared to the vastness and majestic beauty of this planet. But let's concentrate on the task at hand. And yeah, I have forgotten to turn off crossfeed again after doing some quick save and quick reload. This is really annoying. I really hope the developers one day will change that. Because once you disable crossfeed from docking ports, so your lander of course does not get drained of its fuel, and you have to for some reason do some quick reload or other reload thing, then the command disable crossfeed has been disabled and crossfeed has been re-enabled, and your fuel will be drained from your lander or other vehicle that you want to decouple sometime in the future. Really annoying, not helpful. So yeah, I have to do some more adjustments because for some reason my encounter disappeared. And yeah, you can see here when I try to do the periapse a little bit closer, then the encounter disappears for reasons. Yeah, orbital mechanics. Voodoo of the space age. So once again, have to do some adjustment burn. And thankfully the the solar panels are facing squarely towards the sun, so the battery is fine. But this could be a problem when we head even more outside of the sun, well, away from the sun. Because once we head to Erlem or Nidon or Plock, then the only thing that I can use to do some, well, to create some electricity are either radiothermal generators, the RTGs, or of course the fuel cells. And since I'm not a big fan of radioactivity, and I think we already have enough of that with our nerve engines, I will try to concentrate on the fuel cells, and I also want to give them a real tryout run because I have not had used them. Look at that, once again my encounter disappeared. Why? Where is it? I have no, look at that, now it's back. This is really strange. Nevertheless, we are now heading to Slate, and one of the biggest challenges of this series probably, because I want to land there, gather some science, and get back up again. So yeah, could be tough. Once again, now we can do some adjustments. Now my encounter won't disappear for reasons. And yeah, some minor adjustment. We can do this easily. Reaction wheels working fine, so I don't really need the reaction control system at the moment. Some small burn, of course. Really hoping that the delta V of the Ozymandias is enough to at least get us to Hale or Ovok, one of the very small moons of the Sarnus planet system, and yeah, enables us to get down there and gather some fuel, because it can be tricky if we run out of that. And I really don't want to send up another refueling mission. I was planning on making this a single launch mission. I really hope I can pull it off. Not sure though, but yeah, I'll do my best. And yeah, this is going to be the big burn, one of the biggest burns actually of this series, because Tylo, Slate of course, but well, its characteristics are so similar to Tylo that I always keep mixing them up. Tylo is big as hell as well, and also has a lot of gravities, and also needs tons of delta V to get down on it and get back up from it. So yeah, I'm trying to do my best here to keep this thing on course, and of course I really have to burn a lot of time. And what I don't understand is this. Maybe this is a bug, maybe this has something to do with the OPM mod, I don't know. But if you watch closely, then you may see that the amount of delta V needed for the maneuver node is not really decreasing as fast or as quickly as I would have anticipated. So this is really strange. This is really strange. I have not experienced that up until now. Maybe it has to do with the nukes or with how far I'm away from the maneuver node, or it is a bug or something else. I don't know. You may also notice I'm reluctant to do some physical time acceleration. Reason being, if you do that, then your heat buildup for some reason increases. This is a bug that is going to be addressed with the next version of Kerbal Space Program. One more reason to look forward to that. But I hope I will be finished with this series up until then, because yeah, if I have to do a lot of things again due to some technical things, then I really would not like that a lot. But there we go, we are getting a stable orbit around Slate. Yes, we are safe. Well, kind of. And the radiators are glowing. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.